All right, we're recording. This is our fourth call for LITs who are going for leader in October and November. So remember, it's $3,500 for your team and at least two other people besides you are hitting 350 for 2 months in a row, okay? When we do this, we want to do it really strong. So that's why I want to bring that up. I want to talk a little bit and just touch on last week. We talked about the power hour and what it really looks like, how many parties you have to have, how many people to be in front of, how many times to tell your story. And I just wanted to see and income producing activities. That's the other important thing we talked about. Did you guys have any comments or thoughts from that call or things that you found this week as you were working through where you were spending your time? Any feedback that you want to share?
I think I'm probably a little bit better at feeling comfortable. I'm getting more and more comfortable.
Like sharing your story?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, and you had a new rep sign up this week, Ellen.
I did. I was excited.
Yeah, as you should be. That's awesome. Anyone else want to share a celebration that they had from this week?
Well, I was excited. Not only did she sign up, that she's going to go to the workshop on Saturday with me. So
yeah, she said, oh yeah, she signed up for that. Okay, yes, awesome. And Brandy's driving up from Louisiana to be there Saturday.
Yep.
You guys will all, and Melissa's going to be there. You guys will all get to meet in person. Very awesome.
Yay.
Yeah. Okay. So if there's no other thoughts on the power hour and the income producing activities, things of that sort, let's just revisit your vision and how important your vision is, because when you guys are going through this, if you don't have a vision, you just aren't going to have the reason to get up and have your feet hit the floor running. It's going to be harder when you get the and when you aren't hearing from people. It's just harder to keep going if you don't have that vision and what your goal is in front of you. And Melissa has run into a little bit of a struggle, and so she was telling me today, I know this is kind of hard, but I have my vision and I know what I want. And I'm like, that's exactly right. And it is hard sometimes. It's not always just straight up like this. It's kind of more like spaghetti. You have ups and downs and all arounds, and even now. So the sooner you can just get used to that and just change your mindset of that is normal and it's going to happen, and learn to let some of that slide off a little easier, then the quicker you will keep climbing up. Because that spaghetti, even though it's going up and down, it's still going up. Okay? So connect with that vision. I really encourage people to write your vision on 3 Post-it notes and have it in different places around your house. So make sure you've got that. And then the connection, share what your goals are. Share it with your family. They can be so supportive. Share it with a friend. Share it with your upline leader. Share it with me. Okay? Share that vision so that we can help cheer you on to that. And then the income producing activities, how you're spending your time. How much can you really get done in an hour? Because it's really amazing if you sit down and focus and just boom, knock it out. You'll get so much done, so many connections. You can do this in an hour a day. So, okay, so in this call, I want to talk a little bit, and this is going to be some interaction from you guys, but what's working for you? Bookings, how are your bookings looking on your calendar for October? So that we have enough bookings that we can hit those numbers by the end of the month. That will also include, if you're doing a freezer meal workshop, that will include going into November by about 12 days to order for that. But we really want to pay attention to our booking. The other piece of that, with bookings, is thinking about Thanksgiving. Really, you guys can book, let me grab my calendar, up until about the 21st, okay, of November. So you want to do as many bookings through the 20th, 21st as you can. Because then after that, everyone's just preparing for Thanksgiving, or they're leaving town, or whatever it is that they're doing. And then you can start having more bookings again, November 28th through about December. Well, really, Christmas falls on a Sunday, so you might be able to go through December 20th this year, 21st. But you will find that, you know, the closer you get to Christmas, people are just going to kind of bag out of that. I try to overbook during this time period. So if I want to do 6 parties, I put 8 on my calendar, because someone's going to back out. It's going to happen. So just get ready for it. Now, the week between Christmas and New Year's, it is a hit and miss. I have been so normally no one ever wants to do a party then for me. This year, I've been asked by 3 different people to do a party that week. And of course, I scheduled a vacation because I've never done a party before. So you never know. Who I really have found that wants to do parties are teachers. Teachers are wanting to book parties during that time period so they can be prepared when they go back to school. So if you guys have a teacher group, I would say really focus on them for that time period. Normally in the past, Wildtree will have double hostess credits then too. So a normal party gets about 100 in free. During that time period, it's going to be 200. Okay. We will strategize when we get closer to December about signing up reps and stuff like that. But just know, if you have people that don't want to do, if you get, I'm too busy for the holidays, if you start getting that, then say, you know what, let's get on my calendar for January right now. Everybody wants to get on the January calendar. Fake it till you make it, and just say everybody wants the January calendar. Normally it's double hostess credit. And what it does, if you set your January up right, you guys are going to be set up to go on the trip next year. If you want to go on a trip, a free vacation. So it's a huge perk. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just kind of stepping you through that a little bit. So with bookings. So what's working, what's not working? How are you guys feeling about your bookings right now?
I mean, kind of like I just shared with you, you know, working through some of the hesitations, working through some of the excuses, you know, and finding creative ways around that. You know, okay, let's do a tasting instead of a freezer meal workshop or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're going to learn a lot, since all of you guys are going to be there this weekend. We're going to learn a lot about bookings and hostess coaching, recruiting this weekend. And I think it'll be really helpful to give you some words of, you know, how not to like push it on people, but really to like pull them in. And that's what we really want to do, is find out how, it's the platinum rule. How can I serve you? How do you want to be treated? And how we treat people. And some people may be ready to have a party or to sign up as a rep, and some people may not. Okay. And that's another reason it's really important just getting in front of the number of people and telling your story that many times. So that some of those people are going to be ready. Some of those people are not. Okay. So another thing I want to point out about promoting to team leader, October and November, will qualify you to go to the training in St. Louis for leadership, which is January 13th and 14th. Okay, you have to be a leader to go. You can hit it October, November, or November, December. Okay, and it's only leaders and above. It's fantastic. You will get so much great information. You will meet a ton of people that you guys can, you know, brainstorm with across the nation, and you really get into that Wildtree family a little bit more. So I will tell you that December can be harder to hit numbers just because it's December, and a lot of people, you never know what they're going to do with Christmas. Now, the way that Christmas falls this year, it's actually in our favor, so that's good. The reason I say like hit October, November, you actually, if you hit 2 months in a row, you can get kind of 1 month off of leeway. So if you miss numbers in December, you're still considered a leader for conference. Okay. And then you'd have to hit in January to continue to be paid as a leader. Okay. But that's really important to know. So the easiest time to hit is probably October, November. It can definitely be done in December. I kind of hold my sales back a little bit in December. I put them all into January because a lot of times January it'll be double trip points, so I can earn more trip points. So we will figure out how to make it and make it work for you. But just know that that's out there. Let's see. Okay. So the other thing I want to point out, if you guys are really, really serious and you guys want to do this October, November, tell your family, share it with your family so they're on board with it. And really, this is time for you to like focus. This is not the time to start a new series to watch on Netflix. Okay. You're welcome to do that like after Christmas. Okay. That can be your Christmas. That can be your gift to yourself after you hit team leader. If you really want to hit this is the time to really focus, kind of put the pedal to the metal, and let's see what happens for the next 90 days. I recommend at least 20 contacts a day via that calling, email, texting. Normally you hear us say 10 calls a day, but I really think in this time frame for these 90 days, if you can do 20, you're just going to see your business grow that much quicker. And I think that it is, that's what's going to drive you forward the quickest.
What's the best way to find the lead, like your leads?
Wait,
for your booking calls? What's the best way to find your lead? Like find your leads.
Find leads?
Yeah, find leads.
Find leads. So I always start with my list of 100. And when you have your list of 100, you want to make sure on there is not just people you're good friends with, but people that you barely know, like people your husband works with. They should be on there. People from elementary school, people that you haven't talked to in years. All those people should be on your list. And so that's where I start. And
okay, and then, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. What's your question?
And then Whitney Proctor on her Power Hour call, she talked about words for bookings, but I didn't know where to find that document.
Okay. Let me write that down and I will find it for you. Okay. Yep, I will look for that and find it to you. And it's really about having, kind of some meaningful conversations with people and finding out like what are they needing? How are they doing? Build that relationship. You can also get leads. This is a great time to get leads from vendor events. I try and find vendor events that are less than $50. I try and find them that are have been done before, so they're not the first year of the event, but the foot traffic that's going to be coming through. Those can be great places for leads, and especially in the fall because there are so many going on.
What's your best way to find those vendor events?
Sometimes you can Google your area and put like fall festivals. A lot of the newspapers have them listed out. Like I know the Kansas City Star a couple weeks ago had like all the fall festivals listed out in there. Okay. I would contact local schools. You can post on your Facebook page.
Yeah.
I was going to say there's groups on Facebook too that you can post for.
Yeah, there's a MoCan group. Yeah.
There's what?
There's a MoCan group on Facebook. Somebody actually just linked me to that this week. I can try and get that to you if I can.
Yeah. So, post out there. Does anyone know I'm looking for ways to spread my business? I mean, people want to help. They just don't know you want help. You know, I mean, really, that's what it is. So if you ask for help, if they know of something, they're going to tell you. And especially other direct selling companies. So if you have friends with other companies, reach out to them and be like, hey, I'm really trying to grow my business. Do you know of any vendor events coming up?
Cool.
So I do try to avoid to get into the party of, hey, if you do a Norwex party for me, I'll do a Wild Tree party for you. It's a lot of work. And you have no idea how much she's really going to work to get it for you and vice versa. It's a lot of work. So I try not to get into that type of deal, but just, and I'm really hesitant when I do things like, hey, let me get like 5 vendors at my house and we all invite everybody and do that. It's really iffy. If you do that, that's fine.
Yeah.
You in with pretty low expectations. I have a group I do it with where it's just clean things. So Beauty Counter, Norwex, Wild Tree, and Fair Trade or Trades of Hope. I can't remember what it's called. And like one doTERRA or Young Living. So we did it and there was maybe 14 people that came out of all of our businesses, you know. That was the first time, but we got tons of feedback that people wanted to do it. So we're going to try it again here in the fall and see. But I just be very, very hesitant unless I have one that she's had a party like this for 13 years now. You know, 100 people come through, they're ready to buy. That's a good party. But if it's just a couple people randomly thrown together, it just doesn't work well. You're better off to find new leads and have them do a party for you. So,
Yeah, I did one with LuLaRoe consultant, and the first time we did it, it went really well. Both of us felt like we had some good sales, and people were really doing good feedback. The second time, I felt like it didn't go well at all. There was some stepping on my toes, is how I felt, and you know, where the other person that was being a rep of her company was actually interrupted conversations I was having with people about Wild Tree to talk about her stuff. And so it does, you know, you have to really know who you're doing it with and do it well, you know, to do it well too.
Yeah, I agree. So, okay, so telling your story as many times as you can, getting leads from vendor events. I think those are definite. Post out on Facebook. And really, you guys, not everybody sees what you post. I mean, I don't scroll through my Facebook feed, okay? So I have no idea sometimes people are posting stuff and I don't see it unless I just happen to be on at that time. So don't be discouraged if you're like, you know, oh, no one posted anything. Well, who knows who really even saw it, okay? So don't get down on yourself. Just assume, this is the best thing you can do for yourself. Just assume that everyone is out there to help you, okay? Just assume that everybody wants to help you. And, you know, if you didn't hear from anybody, it's just because they didn't see it or they're just busy wrapped up in their own thing, because honest to Pete, that's what's happening. But for some reason, especially women, we go into this and we think, oh, nobody helped me. You know, what's wrong with me? And it will flow into your business if that's the attitude in your head. If that's what your mindset is, that's what's going to happen. And you just cannot go there. No matter what it takes. If you get there, you call me, because I will snap your butt right out of that, because it's just not worth your energy, period. So don't spend it there. And I say that because I've experienced it, I've done it, I've lived in it, and now I've learned not to. So I'm just save you all some time. So, okay. So really, again, I'm going to repeat, like 8 to 10 bookings for yourself. You want to go for 3 to 5 recruits, because you never know who's going to really launch and who's not going to really launch. Those are high numbers. 2 months ago, I had 2 recruits. Last month, I had 1. I have 1 this month so far. So you just want to keep filling that funnel with everyone you're telling your story to. Just pretend you've got a funnel. All these people are going in. And eventually people are dropping out of the bottom here who are signing up as reps, who are going to host parties, who are going to be customers. But you just want to keep filling that funnel all the time with people. So, one thing as leaders and directors, we are working our tail off this time of year. And that's kind of crazy, but I was looking at my calendar. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have stuff going on almost every night. And not that I'm doing parties, but just training. And this is the time to work your business. Okay. This is the time to put the pedal to the metal and get going. And don't get caught up in the numbers. Don't look at your numbers every single day trying to figure out where you are and, oh, I only have this. You can look at the numbers like once a week, okay? But don't get caught up in the numbers. I have so many people, especially when they're first hitting leader, they will get 2,000 in sales in the last week of the month. Now, is that ideal? No, but it can happen. And so what I hate to see happen is when someone's like at 1,500 and it's the 23rd of October and they're like, I'm just not, there's no way. And then all these sales come flying in and someone randomly puts in orders and they're sitting at, 3,200. And I'm like, you're only 300 short. And they're like, what? And just had no idea. And I see it happen, and you just cannot look at the numbers. Just keep doing the daily work and it's going to get there. Let's see what else. I think that's about it. I mean, do you guys feel like you have the tools to be successful?
Yes. Sometimes it's the lack of time, but we're getting there, figuring it out.
Yeah.
Oh, what about finding our volume for the month?
Okay. Thank you. So when I talk about looking at numbers, the best place for you guys to look at numbers is when you log into the back office. Up on the top, one of the little tabs you can click on, it says genealogy. And you want to click on that. And for now, that's going to show you, when you click on it one time, your name will be there. Anyone on your team, their name will be there. And over to the side, it'll say PV, which stands for personal volume. That's what your volume is for the month, okay? Next to that is going to be team volume, and that's going to show what you and your reps have, and that team volume is where we need to be at 3,500. The PV is where you need to be at least two of the reps at 350. They need to be under you with $350. So PV, personal volume. TV is team volume, and then OV is organizational volume, which for you guys is going to be the same as your team volume. That will not change until you promote out a leader underneath you. Okay, so that's the best way to look at your volume each month. Great question. Okay. So I would love for you guys to go around the realm real quick and just say, what are you committed to? Like, say your name and what are you committed to? Are you committed to promoting October 1st in November, hitting your numbers October 31st and November 30th? Are you committed to making, 20 connections a day or 5 days a week? Tell me what your goal is. What are you thinking right now? And I'll get us started. How's that? My goal, so there's this trip to New York that I really, really want to go on. And I don't know if it's going to happen because it's just kind of way more than I would normally do. So it's 3,500 in sales a month and at least 2 bonus qualified recruits a month. So I need to hit 3,500 this month and get my 2 BQs. And I need to make up for last month because I didn't have 3,500 in sales. So I really need a little bit more than that to kind of make up for it. So that's my goal for the month. And so I am planning my parties accordingly. So right now I have, hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 parties in October, like from now forward. And then I have 4 parties before the 8th of November. So really I've got 9 that are going to be going in October. So, and by doing that, I'm going to be in front of, hopefully over 100 people just with that. And so then I pretty much just tell my story, everybody that I meet. So that's my goal, and it's a huge goal for me. So.
My goal is to promote to team leader. So I am, like I said, just trying to find creative ways to overcome those, I don't want to call them obstacles, but I guess so, the excuses, to overcome the excuses and to find, what's really important and how I can best help those around me, to hopefully convert them into customers.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
So.
Who else wants to share?
My goal is to book the parties, just to really get the number of parties. I've never had 8 parties in a month. So I feel like if I can get to that level where I actually have the 8 parties, I will feel a whole lot better. My best was 4. So
great. That's great. And I really think if you aim for like 6, that's a good spot to begin. 6 to 8. Then let's hostess coach, because then you can spend less time out of the house, but more people there. All right. Anybody else want to go?
My goal is, right now, mainly getting bookings on my calendar, but I really want to go for later by the end of November.
Okay.
So mainly just working on the bookings right now is my main goal.
And on that note, after that jam session,
sorry.
Okay, so there's a checklist I'm going to send you guys that talks about being a strong leader.
Okay.
And you guys can kind of look through that. And it just gives you a good indication of like, okay, here's some areas I still need to work on. And especially those of you that are, coming Saturday to the event, I think that'll help you too. I'm also going to find a video on the checkout process and just how to check people out and help you get those bookings on your calendar. Booking baskets are fantastic. You could put product and you could wrap it in tissue, or you could have a basket that says, pick a date, pick a product. So, okay. Does everyone have their open dates on their calendar so they know when they can do a booking? Okay. Okay. The other thing I do to get bookings whenever I'm, short, I'll send an email out to like a group of people, no more than 5 or 6 at a time. So I'll just copy paste and send it to like 15 total. But I'll just say, hey, I know you guys were interested in having a party. Here are my available dates. The fall is booking quickly. I'll call you in a couple days if I haven't heard from you. So I always put that in there so that, hopefully that will, at least a couple of them will email me back so I don't have to spend time calling them. But it's a good way to just start the conversation without calling and being like, hi, I was wondering, I just think it's easier for some people if you can have your foot in the door already and telling them why you're calling. So I do that a ton. And a lot of times I'll get like one booking right away from it. And then I'll do a couple of like follow-up emails and phone calls, and you'll usually get a couple more. So that's another good one. So, okay, any other questions?
No, not tonight. Thank you.
You're welcome. Shannon and Melissa, Brandy?
Hey, while I have you on,
Yeah.
how can I help my hostesses get more people there? Because I know you talked about personal, sending messages that way. But what do you do whenever like the hostess gets frustrated? Where they're like, because I'm like, oh great, now you're frustrated, and I don't want it to be a chore on the hostess.
Yeah. So I look at, is it the date is it wrong? Like, is there something going on at school and that date just isn't working? Hang on, I have to sneeze. Oh, excuse me.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Yeah. So is there something wrong with the date? Or is she not hearing from people? Like, what's going on? Are the people just not able to make it? What are they saying? Why can't they make it?
When I asked her, she just, I said, because that's what I thought. I was like, okay, well, is it the date? And she was like, maybe, I don't know. And I was like, okay. So, because I'm okay if we have to change it. If it's the date that's the issue.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think now she's to the point where she's just so overwhelmed and she's just like done. Like, she doesn't even want to think about it anymore. Like, maybe even hosting. So I don't want her to get that way or feel that
way. Is she happy with the number of people that are coming?
No.
So she wants more people to come.
Yeah.
And have you told her, like, this is pretty normal? Most people don't RSVP till the last minute.
Yes.
Okay. And what'd she think about that? Does she believe you?
I don't know. She was just like, I really have been trying, and so
I'm listening.
I don't know. I think she just like people. I think she thought more people were going to come than what are responding to her.
I would just kind of be comforting with her. Just be like, hey, sometimes this happens. It's no big deal. I've seen this be, I've talked to Annie. I've seen, she says this happens all the time. So we have some options for you here. I am happy to come do the party with you, whoever signed up. So that's option one. Option two could be that you guys go ahead and do the party. I don't even have to be there if you don't want me to be there, whatever you want to do. Option three could be that you just do it on your own, by yourself, or with the one friend that's coming over. Or we can change the date. That would be the other option.
Okay.
And so, think about 3 options you could give her for what you guys could do.
Okay.
But sometimes it
does that happen very often, where just one person is the only one that can show?
Yeah, that happens. I mean,
okay.
Often, I don't know about often, but it definitely does happen. And it depends on kind of what's going on. The other thing is just make sure she's inviting from different groups of people. Like when I host as coach, one of the first things I tell them is, you really want to invite from different sets of friends, because if you invite everyone from church and there's something going on at church that night, you're screwed, right? And so I just say, let's invite from different groups of people. And then I also tell them, like, you're going to get all your no's first. You're going to hear no from everybody, and you're going to want to be like, I'm not going to have this party. No one can come. And then you just have to keep connecting with them. So a Facebook invitation isn't going to do it. It really has to be like a personal, like they have to hear the excitement in your voice. So the more people that you can talk to in person, the better off you're going to be to get people to come. A lot of people don't understand what Wild Tree is, and they really need that explanation from you as the hostess, because you've done it before, to understand what it is. And then after we've connected with them by inviting them like 3-4 times, it's still going to come down to the very last second of when the RSVPs are due that people are going to respond yes. And it's all those people that are in the maybe category and, you know, that you haven't heard from, because the people that respond first, those no's, they're looking at their calendar saying, oh no, I can't do that date. I've got, you know, soccer that night or whatever it is. But everybody else who hasn't responded is because they haven't seen it or they're thinking about it and they just don't know enough to make an informed decision yet. So it does take some time from the hostess perspective, but that's part of why she gets everything for free. And then, so when you're down to like closer to the time, I usually try and say like, hey, let's pick 5 people who you think will be most interested. Can you give them a call and like physically talk to them and see if they're interested in coming?
Okay.
But a lot of it's about her energy too. Like when she calls them, is she excited or not excited? It needs to be like, hey, oh my gosh, I found this thing called Wild Tree. We've been inviting people. Do you have any, you know, interest in coming and hanging out? We're making meals. It's been fantastic for my family. You know, or is she calling saying like, hey, nobody can come to my party. Do you think you can make it? We're going to make some meals. I mean, it's just a totally different ballgame. So setting her expectations in the beginning, I think, is helpful.
Okay. And then I know you said like tonight, like I should be ordering. So what date do I change that to? Because I want to make sure that if she does want it to still be for them to, like, just the one that signed up, that they get it.
Yeah.
In time.
So the party's the 13th.
Yeah.
So if you ordered by tomorrow or even like first thing Thursday morning before 8 o'clock.
Okay.
I think you could do it. I honestly think if you're only ordering kits, you could even order anytime on the 6th, but just to be safe.
Okay.
So, and really, we can 2-day ship it, which would mean ordering like Monday.
Annie,
To pay.
you're running on the time, just so you know. It
Okay,
says
thank you.
minute.
So, okay, I'm going to shoot you guys that stuff. Okay, but this is it. So get your parties booked.
All right. Talk to you soon.
See y'all
Okay.
Saturday.
Good night.
Bye.